Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more variable Barricade, and we're continuing Nayuta's route. Woo! And we get to find out about Kojiro being related to him. So anyway, an unexpected relation. Grandfather's head of security, Kojiro, visits the house and reveals a surprising truth. And obviously, first of all, they had green hair, so they both have green hair, so, but also him showing up in Nayuta's route would be he's a relation to Nayuta. I can't wait till we get down to Ichiya's route and find out Kazu's related to him. Going with brother for Ichiya and Kazu, and I'm going for uncle here because, he said he was 40 or something, and I feel like that's, yeah, he could have been 20 when he had his kids, but I just feel like it's younger brother of Nayuta's dad, so his uncle, Anyway. Hi, Kasuga, I'm back!
Oh, welcome home, Miss Spacey. My apologies, since I know you must be tired, but you have a visitor today.
Someone's here to see me? What are you doing, Bird?
Yes, he's waiting in the living room.
I handed my bag to Kasuga and puzzled over who it could be. Who would come all the way to the vacation home? Kasuga opened the front door for me, and I headed inside, still confused. And in the living room where the suitors usually lazed around, there stood... Oh, Miss Spacey, thank you for having me. Taiga, Shion, and one unfamiliar man. Huh? Isn't he... Master, Miss Spacey, apologies for all the fuss. I wasn't aware that you'd gotten back yet. His voice kind of sounds like Taiga, never mind, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, did you forget who I am? I know I don't really stand out from the crowd. No, I remember you. You were at the estate in Kamakura the other day. Yes, that's right. It's quite the honor to hear that you remember me. What can I do for you? Oh, nothing big. The master just asked me to run an errand for him. An errand for grandfather? I'm sure I looked very confused, but he just pulled out a pastry box from behind his back and held it out to me. He said it was a fruit tart. Apparently it's from a pretty famous place. Great, thank you. Why would that old vulture go out of his way to do this? Something was fishy. The tart smelled divine, but it couldn't mask the scent of grandfather's scheme. Must hold up, babe. Doesn't it look good? Come on, let's slice this baby up. Hey, wait! Ah, hell yeah, this shit's famous. I saw it on TV before. Oh my god, would you read the room? And Kasuga, and the tea is ready now. Huh? Oh, Spacey, you're home. Perfect timing. I just brewed some tea. Here you are, Kojiro. And there's also milk, sugar, lemon, whatever you like. He's a really good husband. What? Gosh, don't mind if I do. Ugh, guess no matter how suspicious he is, he's still a guest. Since that was the case, I couldn't just have us all stand around awkwardly. You could. That would assert some dominance, wouldn't it? I took a seat with resignation, but still kept my guard up.
So, you said your name was Kojiro. What is it you do for Spacey's grandfather?
Bird, do not eat my shirt.
Oh, just light bodyguard duty and a mix odd jobs.
A bodyguard?
Oh, really? I never would have guessed.
You're not the first one to say that. He starts to sound like Taiga. I gotta try to fix it, but anyway. I kept my eye on him as we chatted, but as expected, I couldn't glean what his real intentions were. I'm sure grandfather was up to something. We've been talking for nearly half an hour now. He didn't really just come to deliver that tart, did he? At least the tart was delicious. But more importantly, how long does this guy plan on sticking around? By the way, Nayuta's not back yet from running his errand, is he? Oh yeah, you're right. What's taking him so long? Hope he didn't get mixed up and end up in the next city over. I made enough tea for him. Nayuta? Now that they mentioned it, I realized he wasn't here. However, just as I had that thought, I'm back!
Speak of the devil, Looks like he's returned.
Ugh, Taiga, that was way too hard to find. No one had berry and wasabi flavored. Nayuta burst into the living room with his usual fervor, but then he suddenly stopped dead in his tracks. And then he said, Uncle Kojiro, I told you. What are you doing here?
Uncle!
We all immediately looked at Kojiro. He seemed embarrassed and annoyed, but managed a strained laugh. Well, I suppose the cat's out of the bag. I should probably reintroduce myself to Miss Spacey and the rest of your prospective grooms. And the rest of you prospective grooms. I am Kojiro Yagami, Nayuta's uncle. What? He's got green hair. It's kind of obvious. Like, when do we meet? Wait, so in the common realm, we only met those two. Does that... Oh, well, Taiga grew up in an orphanage, so he doesn't have any relations. But what, we can't meet, like, an orphan? We don't get to meet, like, an orphan child that he, like, grew up in the orphanage with? Or the sister that took care of him or some shit? Like, I'm just saying. And then, like, Shion, we don't get to... Well, I mean, he got kidnapped by one of his ex-boyfriends, so, like, maybe Shion doesn't have family either. I don't know. Okay. So to sum everything up, Kojiro is Nayuta's father's younger brother. What did I say? It's just age-wise. If he was like 45 or something, he could have been Nayuta's dad. But like, just being like 40? Didn't he say 40? We said maybe he said 40-something. I don't know. Yeah, that's correct. Several minutes had passed after the surprising revelation. With Kojiro and Nayuta's explanation, I felt like I got a handle on the situation. You're his uncle. Uh-huh. So like, his brother, his dad's brother? Yeah, so like an uncle. I mean, like, I don't know why we needed that. I mean, I guess it was like, you're his father's younger brother. I mean, we needed that so you know the relationship of the family, but it just sounds so funny. If I had known all this sooner, I would have given him a warmer welcome. So I also wanted to say, I appreciate you taking care of my nephew. I'm sure he's given you a lot of trouble, hasn't he? So, thank you again. Oh, well, you know... Seriously, Uncle Kojiro? Don't be so mean. I've been pretty good, you know. And weren't we supposed to keep quiet about being related? Are you sure it's okay you told everyone? Nayuta?
You're the one who told us all first. You called him uncle.
Yeah, if you hadn't said that, we wouldn't have figured it out. Wait, what? Now he gets it. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Uncle Kojiro. Nah, it's okay. You actually made it easier for me. Easier for you? You mean the real reason you came here today was to tell me? That's right. I was going to explain everything anyway. But I wasn't quite sure I was going to broach the subject. How can he be so misleading? I mean, he's fucking shady, but like everyone we are dating, not everyone here, because not Kasuga. Okay, but everyone here, not Kasuga, is like kind of recyclables, right? So like it would make sense that Nayuta's like uncle is also slightly trash. I'm just saying. And there's one more thing. I'd like to apologize to you, Miss Spacey. Huh? What for? Well, when we met the other day in Kamakura, you seemed extremely wary of me. I guess I can't deny that. I'm still wary of you. So the reason you kept your full name private was to prevent people from finding out about your connection to Nayuta, right? Yeah, I was still keeping that a secret when we met, but it made me seem suspicious and overall was very rude of me. Oh no, please don't worry about it. All things considered, there was nothing you could do about it. It's such a respectable reason, it almost feels anticlimactic. When he said he was running an errand for grandfather, I thought for sure he was up to something. Kinda, but it seemed like the only good thing to come out of this whole situation was... I'm glad to find out that not everyone in the Yagami family is like Nayuta. Well, that was the main takeaway. But that one fact made me feel a lot better. I'm still really surprised, though. I can't believe Nayuta's uncle is one of the Tojo family's bodyguards.
So then, was Nayuta chosen as a suitor because of his relationship to Kojiro?
Oh, no, not at all. That has nothing to do with it. Just because I'm close to the master doesn't mean Nayuta will have any sort of advantage. Although I did pick him, so, like, that's gonna look weird, isn't it? To be honest, I'm actually pretty worried about him, and I'd rather he just admit defeat. Come on! Why are you picking on me? You're supposed to back me up! I'll be quiet. I worry every darn day about the messes you must be getting into. See? My hairline's receding from all the stress. No, sure, blame your baldness on someone else again! Everyone else probably understood Kojiro's pain, except for Nayuta. And maybe Shion didn't either. Ugh! Instead of sticking your nose in other people's business, how about you worry about yourself? Still single, huh? Hey, Daddy. I mean, he's not unattractive and a, like, grizzled cop over it, kind of, like, living a bachelor life. Oh my god, have you ever put away a dish in your life kind of way? You know what I mean? Like, you know his apartment's a fucking mess. You know, like, you're like, oh, sweetie, do you not know how to do laundry? Like, you're just kind of concerned about him because you're like, how have you fucking functioned on your own? Like, you know? You know! You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, like, men can't function on their own, like, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, this man can't function on their own. Like, you've seen it in games, movies, TV shows, and you're like, they just have the look, and then you go, and you're like, oh, yeah, no, it all fit. Yeah. What did you say? It's been, what, 5 years since you said you wanted to settle down? Looks like that's been going real well. Wow, Nayuta. Wow. Still the same as ever, aren't you? Now go take a lap around town. What? Why? Do as I say, or else I'll tell everyone else here how old you were when you stopped wetting the bed. Okay, I'm going! Kojiro watched as Nayuta sulked out of the room, then he let out a big sigh. And everybody fucking abuses this boy. Sorry about all that. He's a firecracker, alright. Always has been.
Yeah, I figured. He probably always marched to the beat of his own drum.
If anything, I respect you all the more. You've had to deal with him for over 20 years. Thanks. Hearing you say that makes me feel a little better. He chuckled softly, and then Taiga spoke up. So, that all you wanted to say, Pops? Not quite. Kojiro nodded his head toward me awkwardly and threw me a meaningful glance. Is there something else you wanted to discuss with me? Yes, I'm sorry, but could we talk in private? At Kojiro's request, I went out to the courtyard with him. The sky was just changing colors. I heard something from the master. He said you chose Nayuta as your fiancé. I had a feeling that's what he wanted to talk about. The other candidates didn't know that I had chosen a tentative fiancé. I'd expected this topic to come up when the others weren't around. Yes, but he's a tentative choice, so it's not yet set in stone. So it's not set in stone yet. Whatever, same difference. Yes, I heard about that as well. It's something about the branch families and such. Grandfather must really trust this man to tell him that much. I nodded appreciatively. Kojiro then stopped speaking and looked me directly in the eye. So, why Nayuta? It was the first thing that came to mind. That's the route order that Otome Kitten recommended. Is that an option? What? I've watched him grow up since he was a baby. That's why I know he's not exactly Tojo's son-in-law material. He's definitely not a bad person, but he's a handful and careless, and you'll get into heaps of trouble the moment you take your eyes off him. I don't even know if he'd ever been properly responsible before he started living here. I couldn't help but break out into a smile as Kojiro talked. Miss Spacey? Sorry, it just feels like I'm kind of talking to Nayuta's father. Don't you embarrass me now. Kojiro forced a smile and scratched his cheek aimlessly. I smiled softly at him. You don't have to worry. Yeah, Nayuta's a bit careless, but he's also obedient, upstanding, and honest. I think he's a very good boy. He's very likable. Likable? Kojiro closed his eyes, folded his arms, and furrowed his brow. He stayed like that for a while, just thinking. Eventually, he spoke again, this time with more seriousness than before. That's not something you want to hear, like someone's talking about your nephew, and they're like, he's likable. Yeah, I want you to marry him because he's lovable. You know what I mean? Like, you love him, you know what I mean? But, like, we're not there. He's a tentative fiancé, so, like... Then let me ask you one last thing, just to be sure. Do you think there's a chance he'll actually become your fiancé, Miss Spacey? Oh, well... Kojiro looked so serious, there was no way I was going to say something bad. I thought for a moment and said, I'm considering it. I'm honestly not sure. I feel like I'm considering it is the right answer because, like, I'm honestly not sure is the honest answer. But this is the kinder answer, and like the, leading you. If you're in this situation, you're like, yeah, I don't know. That's more negative. If you're like, I'm considering it, that's positive and it opens the door more. And like maybe you decide no, but the positiveness is always better. Oh, actually, no, we go straight up with the honest, I'm not so sure. All right, well. Well, it's honesty. That's true. He does value that, huh? I have no idea. I think grandfather would be mad at me for saying this, but to be honest, I always thought marriage was still a long way off for me. That's why when you're asked about grooms and husbands, you just can't imagine any of it yet, right? That's right. Even though I think Nayuta's a good person, when I'm asked if I think he'd be a good husband, I just don't know. I see. After hearing my response, Kojiro folded his arms again and mulled things over for a short while. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer. This is just like when grandfather questioned me. I'm being evasive without offering an answer. However, don't look so dumb, Miss Spacey. But it's totally fine to be undecided. By all means, take your time thinking things through. Wow. Take your time thinking through everything. You mean it? After all, this is a decision that'll affect the rest of your life. It's natural for you to be cautious. Just because you made one choice doesn't mean you're completely bound to it. I feel like he should have a cigarette in his hand. Like, why does it look like that's just like, yeah, I'm holding a cigarette. That's his, like, automatically always smoking hand. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way the hand's drawn. I mean, I know he's only got his index finger up, but I feel like his, like, middle finger should be there, and there should just be a cigarette. You know what I mean? Because he's got the, like, shit's hard being a cop, man. I'm over this. Like, if after much consideration you find you're interested in a different suitor, you should feel free to choose that person officially. And if you dump Nayuta, me and the rest of his family will take care of him. I understand. Thank you very much for talking with me. I mean, I gotta dump 3 out of the 4. Can I dump 4 out of the 4 and marry Kasuga? We haven't mentioned that yet today, so hi, there you go. Kojiro had finished with his errand, so he left after that. Nayuta's uncle. I admit I thought he'd seem rather suspicious when I first met him, but I think I understand why grandfather keeps him close by. It'd be beneficial for the Yagami family if Nayuta got engaged to me, of course. But I don't think Kojiro cared about any of that at all. I was a little curious as to why that was the case. So, he's Nayuta's family, huh? Once I realized that and how well he must know Nayuta, it all made sense. And we're going to do the little... Unless there's a wisp message. Nope. Okay. We're going to do this, I'm sure, because it's the only thing we can do. My true purpose. Talking with his uncle Kojiro, Nayuta reminisces on why he came to this house in the first place. And yes, that's exactly what we're doing here. Stupid Uncle Kojiro, always giving me orders. I didn't mind taking a lap around town, but it bothered me that he didn't seem to want to see me. Why even come to the house then? I wonder if he's left yet. Nope, still here. Yeah, Uncle Kojiro, what the... I finished what I had to do and was just leaving, but I wanted to have a little word with you first. Come on, follow me. They don't really look alike aside from the green hair. Can we see them together? I mean, we're Nayuta right now, so like... Alright, so... How's it been living with the young miss? I mean, because like... Okay, well actually, the funny thing is, Nayuta's hair is actually a little more of like a bluey green. And his is like green. And then Nayuta's got green eyes and he's got blue eyes. So it's kind of like, they are actually... I'm surprised that I actually thought that. Like, that they were related. Well, Nayuta's hair always looks green until you compare it with his uncle's, and now his hair looks blue. It could just be the lighting on this sprite, but like... It's actually the lighting on my TV, because his hair looks more green if I look at my computer. That's weird. My TV's got a weird color. Huh. Anyway. How's it been? Well, she's really cool and nice, and she's totally my ideal type. Your ideal type, huh? Everything about her, including her status, certainly seems to be perfect. I know, right? She seemed wary of me at first, but now she talks to me normally. She also takes me on walks, and she even gives me treats when I do a good job. It's like you're some kind of pet. Shh. Don't tell him. Did you say pet? No, it's nothing. I'm actually glad you're here, though, because Something's been bothering me. What? Something's bothering you? Uncle Kojiro's eyes widened in surprise, and I nodded slightly. Yeah, we've been living together for a while now, but Spacey still doesn't trust me at all. And I want to protect her, and I want her to depend on me and step on me. Step on you? I just want to be helpful. Why can't I make Spacey understand that? So what do you think I should do, Uncle Kojiro? I was at my wit's end. What was I missing? And why couldn't Spacey trust me and rely on me? Nayuta, you're missing like 96% of a brain. Uncle Kojiro let out a small sigh and looked at me with a serious expression. I heard all about your life in that house from everyone on my way out. You fit in with them. I understood that right away. If I'm being honest, I thought you'd get kicked out immediately since you're such a troublemaker. I'm not gonna get kicked out. I love living there. Ichi gives me food, Taiga hangs out with me, Shion takes care of me, and Spacey gives me lots of attention. Yep, every day is really fun. Oh, really? Well, that's good to hear. But Nayuta, what's your end goal? What? It's fine to have fun all the time, but is that all you want? Is that all? Well? Now, Nayuta, come on. Remember? What is the reason you're doing this? I had heard something similar before. Oh my god, is this where we find out his uncle's actually shady? I'm here to get into the family so we can make money and then I bunker off. But I don't want to do that. Now you're like, the uncle seems like a nice guy, and now you're like, is he? Maybe he's not. But like, Nayuta's too stupid. Dude, don't you realize she's let her guard down with you? Huh? Guard? What guard?
What he means is, don't you want Spacey to be the one talking to you?
That's not why I'm doing this. I can't go on like this. I want to protect Spacey. And because of that, I want her to choose me. I want her to feel like she's safe with me. Even if she said she doesn't need me, it felt like the rusty gears in my brain finally started to move. Oh my god, oh, progress. And once they started, there was no stopping them. Well, guarding someone's a difficult job. Sometimes they get mad at you and don't want you around. I told you what you should do with someone like that, didn't I? Yes, I know I can do it. All right, there's a good boy. Uncle Kojiro gave me a brief, tight smile and then let out a breath. He turned around to leave. I'll see you later then, Nayuta. Don't cause too much trouble, you hear? So it's like funny because like he sounds like he's being shady right there, but then you're like, I don't know if he really is. Or if he's just trying to help Nayuta and he's like, I want to protect her. He's like, you know how to do that, right? I taught you how to do that. And like, but like it's weird because they like make it like the things he says is not clear. It's not like, yeah, good boy. Maybe you'll love her. He's like, I told you how to do this, didn't I? And you're like, it sounds a little suspicious, but also very innocuous. So like, maybe I'm reading into it. Like, I don't know. Or like, do they want me to be suspicious of him? Like, will do. Thanks, Uncle Kojiro. See you later. But I mean, if you really wanted to like get into the family, you picked the wrong fucking person to like infiltrate because Nayuta's kind of an idiot. He's adorable, but he's kind of an idiot, so. Uncle Kojiro's figure disappeared into the distance. I clenched my fist with determination. The reason I'm here is to protect Spacey. If someone won't let you guard them as usual, then that's when you force them? I, Nayuta Yagami, am home! Oh, that's me. Oh, welcome back? I'd found my motivation again and came home. Well, I can't read. As I entered the house, I saw Spacey coming out of the living room. I felt as if some higher power was in my corner, cheering me on. There we go. Look, you can actually see us. Spacey! Huh? What is it? I'm gonna be a brand new person starting tomorrow. What now? I'm gonna work even harder than before, so get ready! I don't really understand what's going on, but good luck, I guess? Thank you very much! Okay, Uncle Kojiro, I'm gonna do it! That's so funny. Oh! So that about sums it up. The visit went off without a hitch, though I was fairly nervous. Ooh, this is interesting. But after talking with her, she seems to be quite a fine young lady. She even supports my nephew.
Of course. She is my granddaughter after all. What's with that face?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Anyway, to get back to my report, it looks like I got worked up about the whole fiancé situation for nothing. From what I hear, Nayuta's pretty much contented being a kind of pet.
So that's how things turned out.
The way I see it, him being a pet's fine for now, but it'll become an issue at some point. Why is that boy stirring things up? He'll get it through his skull once he does all he can and is dumped. Besides, the sooner he comes to his senses, the less painful it'll be in the long run.
And you're willing to let your precious nephew go through all that? What an unfeeling uncle you are.
See, this sounds like they're like, yeah, eventually she'll just dump him. You know what I feel like? You know what I feel like? You know what I feel like? If you've been here through the rest of the game, you know exactly where I'm going with this. This sounds like, say it with me, they're setting us up because they really wanted us to marry Kasuga and we chose Nayuta and our grandfather's like, wait, what the fuck? So, this is a plot. To get us to marry Kasuga! Woo! Jump on the Kasuga train! Woo, woo! But seriously, doesn't this conversation, I mean... So that, oh yeah, he's basically a pet. So like, we chose Nayuta, so he sends his uncle. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, because I got worked up about this whole fiancé situation. He came, he's like, what, you really want, he's not like, yeah, you picked my nephew. He's like, you really? And he's like, oh, he's a pet, but eventually she'll dump him. And we're like, ha, no we won't. But like, it sounds like, you know, like our grandfather was like, I want her to marry Kasuga, but she needs to choose him for herself. And like, fuck, maybe if I throw her in a house with a bunch of trash, she'll realize and be like, can I just marry Kasuga? You know? And then she's like, Nayuta, and he's like, really? Wait, what? And so now the uncle comes over and is like, really? What are you doing? What? She wasn't supposed to pick him. And it's going to be that way for all of them. There's going to be this weird thing where somebody is like, oh, really? That doesn't seem right. Instead of being like, oh, thank God she picked someone. They seem awfully like, really? I mean, you gave me these 4 options, and whichever one I pick, you're going to be like, that one? Really? Her? Anyway. It's true that Nayuta means a lot to me, but he is by no means fit to be the partner of the head of the Tojo family. So you should make her choose her real true love, and quick, before things get too complicated. If you're thinking of your precious granddaughter, that is. Yes, our real true love. Grandfather's like, I gave you your real true love when you were fucking 9. 9 or 10. Whatever. You've had him since you were a child. Will you just get it through your thick skull? You love Kasuga? See, even her grandfather, even Kojiro's on. Everyone is in on this, but us. I don't know if Kasuga is.
How boring of you.
The future of the Tojo family's at stake, you know. It doesn't matter if it's entertaining or not.
Huh. This is exactly why you can't find a wife.
Excuse me?
You know what? If you want to snag a wife, you ought to learn what women want before you start going off on all those speed dating events.
That is none of your business. I'll have you know I was very popular at those events. I'm sure I'll get married even without them. Literally me. I could totally find a man who wasn't T2D if I wanted to. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. Listen, Kojiro, you and me same. We're like single forever. We're gonna die alone. We can die alone together if you want.
Well, it's like they say, women change their minds as often as the seasons. So all you gotta do is keep at it.
Whoa, wow. Wow. Wow, if that wasn't douchey. You got to... Hey, Master, where you going? And maybe he was like teaching... Maybe he was saying that to Nayuta. You know what you gotta do? And he's like, then she'll get overbearing and she'll be like, get the fuck out of the house. Because she's not supposed to be with him. This is so funny. It's kind of... I really just... I swear to God, if you are not setting me up to... Like, maybe it's setting me up to the finale routes, the independent woman. You don't need no man. You know, that kind of fucking bullshit. You know? But I really, really, really want it to be like, which would be make sense. Like, yeah, I could do this on my own. Grandfather's like, damn right you can, girl. High five. And you're like, I mean, okay. You can marry whoever you want, whenever you want. Fuck that shit. You know, which is fine. That's cool. Because, I mean, we're only 17. But I really just want to marry Kasuga. So, like, that's my choice. I don't need to be an independent woman. I need Kasuga to tell me what to do. Duh. Anyway, work mode. I'm assuming this is it because we haven't got any rabbies or... Did we see all the rabbies? Is there no more rabbies? No rabbies? I want some more rabbies. Anyway. Work mode. At Nayuta's request, I let him act as my bodyguard as I go to and from school. When he's on the job, he... So, that's why... Starting today, I'm going to escort Spacey to and from school. Huh? Nayuta, you know, if you want me to take you on more walks, I can do that when I get home from school. No, that's not what I mean. I've been thinking, there have been a lot of disturbing incidents lately, and you never know when something like that's gonna happen. That's why Spacey needs increased security on a regular basis. What?
He does have a point.
Kasuga!
I have been concerned about Miss Spacey's safety for some time now. Even the servants of the main family feel this way, and many of us feel that you should have an escort when going out.
I think you're all worrying too much. I'm just going to and from school. That's when they get you when you're on your routine.
With all due respect, miss, the Tojo family's one of the wealthiest in the entirety of Japan. Since you're the heir, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that someone would target you, most likely your family members who want you out of the way, so they can get their fingers in the pot. I'm just saying.
Sus.
That's true. I think it'd be normal for girls of her status to have at least one personal bodyguard. I clearly am not capable of doing it because I'm too pretty.
I'm ad-libbing a little, but you know.
See? Shion's right. I promise I won't get in the way. Please let me guard you when you go to school. Please!
He says he won't get in the way. I turned to Kasuga for help, but he remained silent. His look basically saying I could do as I please. He's over there like, yeah, no, it's a great idea. And then you'll realize he's not husband material. You will marry me. That's the whole point of this. We're going to fall in love with Nayuta and Kasuga's going to quit. And then we know. We know. He looks like a sad puppy. I want Kasuga to not know that the intent was for us to fall in love with him. You know? That's probably not the intent, but that's the intent in my head. Okay, I'm writing my own end to this. That makes me happy. But I want him to not know because I feel like it would just hurt so much more to go to the end and him be like, yeah, you chose me. I'm so glad because if you had chosen one of the others, I'd have been heartbroken. And you're like, oh, we did that to you 4 times. It hurts now that I know that I'm hurting you by having to play these other routes, even though you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it would kill me if I had to look back and think Kasuga the whole time was watching us fall in love with someone else. Knowing we should have been with him. I mean, it would just kill me. Anyway. Nayuta just stared at me and I couldn't help but let out a small sigh. Fine. But only to and from school, okay? You are not to enter the school grounds. Got it?
Of course. All right. I gotta get into work mode.
Work mode?
I'll just be a second. 5 seconds to be exact.
After he said that, Nayuta closed his eyes. And then he quietly started counting the seconds out loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5!
And then... All right, Spacey, this corner looks clear. Miss Spacey, we've arrived at your school. Okay. I just want to know you did have a different voice. Oh my god! He's in his suit! That's so cute.
Please watch your steps so you don't trip.
Thank you?
My pleasure.
Even when giving a quick reply, Nayuta narrowed his eyes and carefully observed our surroundings. He was now calm and collected. Actually, calm and collected described him to a frightening degree. He normally couldn't keep quiet for more than 3 seconds, but he barely said a word in the car. He's been like this ever since he counted to 5. I felt my brow beginning to furrow when... Miss Spacey, stand back! feel like he should have a different voice when he's in, like, bodyguard mode. Nayuta pushed me against the car and threw his body in front of me. What's going on? I could sense a terrifying tension radiating from him. Scared, I shut my eyes and cowered, and then... I'm sorry, it's only Tsumugi. I greatly apologize for not noticing you sooner. What? I hurriedly peeked my head out and sure enough saw my best friend, who looked extremely shocked. Spacey, I was just trying to sneak up on you. I'm very sorry. I thought you were an assailant trying to catch me off guard. An assailant? Anyway, we should get going, Nayuta. Catch you later, alligator! Yes, miss. Have a good day. I'll be back to pick you up when it's time to leave. I still gotta have slight Nayuta in his voice, but like... Yes, miss, I'll be back when it's time to leave. I kind of also want to do that. Like... So, did Nayuta hit his head recently, or... I made sure that Nayuta was out of sight and then heaved a big sigh. Okay, so what happened is that this morning Nayuta suddenly declared that he was going to escort me to and from school. I recounted the events from this morning to Tsumugi, and she nodded her head as if it all made sense. I see. So that's what happened. Well, that's great. Isn't it just wonderful? Huh? Your own personal bodyguard. He's so cool and stoic. What an exquisite, classic arrangement. I feel like something's going to happen. I felt a newfound respect for Tsumugi. Her ability to change gears is incredible. Tsumugi's reaction stunned me momentarily. Then I hurried to class, pulling her along with me as she continued to gush incessantly. Later. Good afternoon, Miss Spacey. I'll be accompanying you on the way home as well. Right, thanks. Nayuta hadn't changed one bit, even later after school let out. I was hoping he'd be back to his normal self by now. You're like, do I want him to be his normal self, or this, or like in between? Because like, I'm like this all the time. Now I am like this. Could you be a little bit more, like in between? In the car, I looked over at him, just like I did this morning. When I thought back, he'd always been the same ever since I'd met him. Upbeat, boisterous, childish, cute. But now... Is everything all right, miss? Yeah, I'm fine. The way he observed his surroundings with such seriousness was not childish. It was strangely mature. But why so suddenly? No, it was completely out of nowhere. Something Nayuta said to me last night. Something about being a brand new person. Hey, Nayuta? Did Kojiro say something to you by chance? Nayuta's eyes moved slightly when I said that. And is that why you suddenly declared you'd be my bodyguard? Yes, but I also came to a realization. I couldn't continue like I had been. What do you mean by that? Nayuta looked at me seriously, though he didn't directly answer my question. It's become clear to me that you see me as a pet, Miss Spacey, though not in a bad way. I guess he's not wrong. And that makes me happy. You give me attention, you praise me, and we talk. But that's not what I want the most. And what would that be? He paused for a moment, then he smiled softly and said, To protect you. Do you remember, miss? I told you the same thing before when you interviewed me and asked all those questions. I do. I tried to recall the faint memory. I'd protect you, anytime, anywhere, and from any enemy! By protecting, do you mean protecting me emotionally? Or do you mean you'd physically protect me from some outside threat? I couldn't explain myself very well then, but I can give you a better answer now. No matter the time or place, I will always put myself on the line to protect you, Miss Spacey. Physically and emotionally. Great, so we have a hot butler. Now we got a cute puppy bodyguard. We've got a great personal chef. What the fuck is Taiga? What is he? Just someone who antagonizes me on the ready? Because he doesn't like clean or anything, and Shion is literally just trophy husband. It's a pretty good man harem. I'm just saying. They all have jobs to fulfill. What is Taiga's role? Oh, he takes care of the kids. Right, he's the live-in, like, nanny. Because he's good with the kids. So, okay, perfect. Good. God. Not that I'm having kids, but I mean, I guess if I got to, then he can take care of them. Perfect. That's what I mean by protection. After he calmly explained that to me, Nayuta stopped speaking and went back to scanning our surroundings. I honestly didn't think things were so dangerous that it warranted him escorting me. Wow. I honestly didn't think things were so dangerous that it warranted him escorting me to and from school. I don't know why I couldn't read that sentence. But he had really thought this through and was trying to protect me. It made me happy, but simultaneously uneasy. I mean, maybe it is kind of cool to have a bodyguard? I let out a deep sigh and shook my head. Maybe I needed to change my perception of Nayuta. The real him was more mature than I thought he was. Spacey! So what do you think? Did I go do a good job bodyguarding? If you were going to give me a score, what would it be? What? Come on, aren't you listening? How would you score my bodyguarding? Oh, I heard you. I'm just having trouble catching up. They just arrived home and had barely stepped foot into the house. It was like a switch had flipped inside Nayuta. He came right up to me and I averted my gaze and took a breath. Nayuta? Yes? What is it? Would you like something to drink? No, just... It is you, right? You don't have a twin or something? It's me, alright. Pinch my cheek if you're not sure. If it hurts me, this is reality. No, I'm not saying I'm dreaming. How come you're so happy all of a sudden? What? I stared at Nayuta, his smile beamingly bright. Then I looked up at the ceiling and thought, I do not understand this boy. Just love how he instant switched. Clear. Well, that one didn't have choices, I guess. Okay. Let's see. I'm assuming, because we have no other choice, we go to that next one. Yep. The strongest bodyguard. The difference between when he's on and off the clock is shocking, but there's no doubt Nayuta will always protect me. I mean, at the rate we're going, this is not going to take, like, 3-4 parts to finish unless there's a second board, is all I'm saying. Because, like, we did all this in 1 part. We did these in 2. This will be, like, a 3rd part, probably, and then this is, like, 4, maybe 5. So there's, like, 4 to 5 parts total for each one of the routes, so. Not complaining. I mean, because the common route's pretty long and you do the board, so it doesn't bother me if the routes are kind of short, you know what I mean? So. Oh my, how absolutely stunning! Another year, another collection of masterpieces. Indubitably, especially that one. It has a certain je ne sais quoi, reminiscent of an early Gauguin. Gauguin? I have no idea. I think in terms of the countryside motif, there's more of Jean-François Millet influence, wouldn't you say? I'm just making up fucking shit because I don't even know these names. I see. You certainly could look at it like that. What does the young lady think? Yes, well, I do not have an eye for the arts like you gentlemen do. Okay, well, one of them was a lady, so, like, whatever. However, the painting seems to beguile its viewer. Even to an untrained eye, it's truly a work of art. Oh my, beguile, she says. Spoken like a true Tojo lady. Your appraisal carries weight, my dear. A person like you who has been surrounded by beautiful objects her whole life is cut from a different cloth. I'm sorry, I just bumped that. As I smiled in response to their cliched remarks, my eyes wandered away from the array of paintings on display. I'd attended this exhibition of paintings in Roppongi on grandfather's behalf. Today was an exclusive viewing for patrons, so the only people in attendance were either supporters or members of the press. This is exhausting. Maybe I felt this way because everything with the boys at home was so relaxed. But I found conversations where I had to think about my public position to be awfully tiresome. Oh, by the way, Miss Tojo, I heard that you've turned 17 this year. Goodness, how the months do fly by. But if that's the case, then isn't it time to begin setting up an engagement? They really enjoy talking about this, don't they? For people like them, talking about marriage is a great way to learn about the stability of another business. They could easily tell by my choice of partner if the business was headed for financial trouble or not. Yes, well, there is a lot to arrange. However, I'm still only in high school, so... But wouldn't the head of your family like to have a son-in-law soon so that he could rest easy? I'm sure you'll be meeting with a select few candidates soon, yes? Yes, here you go. Wouldn't he like to have a son-in-law so he can retire and he wouldn't pass it on to a woman? Fuck you. Maybe grandfather wants us to be like, no! I refuse to marry any of them. You will give me this fucking shit, and I'm gonna crunch the motherfucking hell out of it, bitch! And he's gonna be like, that's what I wanted. He wants us to be an independent woman! And meanwhile, I'm not actually gonna get married, but I'm gonna be having a secret affair with my butler because he's hot. And Kasuga's over there like, huh? What? Cool. I'm okay with this. Yeah! Woo! Not really independent woman, because Kasuga, what do I do? Is that okay? Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind. He can tell me what to do. Ugh. Why are they so insistent? I felt disgusted, but I plastered a smile on my face and was about to speak when... Miss Spacey? Mayuta had been waiting quietly until then. I apologize for interrupting your conversation, but the master would like a word with you. Grandfather wants to talk? Oh, you must be the new bodyguard. What a fine young man, and well-bred, too. So perfect for you, miss. You seem to have the same good eye that your grandfather does. Yes, well, thank you for talking about my dog's pedigree. Wait, what? I couldn't tell them that he was actually one of my prospective grooms, so I just gave them a faint smile. But he certainly is perfect as a bodyguard. In fact, he'd been so quiet that I almost forgot he was there. Which is, like, weird, because Nayuta. Back when I decided to attend the exhibition. So that's why I'll be out this weekend. Understood. That means it's my time to shine. What? There'll be so many people at the exhibition, you're gonna need a bodyguard. No, I don't think so. Didn't both Kasuga and Shion say you needed a bodyguard? Come on, Spacey. Well, yes, but... Then leave it to me! It's gonna be a very formal affair, you know. Are you sure you can be a good boy? Yep, I'll be in work mode the whole time. You can count on me. And when he's in work mode, it's fucking amazing. That's all we have to do. Is basically be like, okay, so you know how you go to work mode? I need you to tone it down just a little bit. So you've got work mode up at 10. I need you to turn it down to about like 7. Okay? And that is husband mode. Right? Can you do that? Try that and you're like, okay. Yeah! Husband mode. Perfect! Okay, maybe sometimes, and then there's public husband mode. Public husband? No. 8. I need you to turn to like 7.5, 8. That's public persona husband mode. Let's go. I didn't realize he could be this diligent, but if he can do this, that's kind of proving that he could yes, I'm sorry, I'm just not much with the arts. I'm very good with punching shit, though. Don't mess with me. I'll fucking take you out, motherfucker! Okay, don't turn on the number 1! Nayuta's unbelievably calm compared to his usual self. That work mode of his sure is incredible. So, Miss Spacey, how would you like to respond to the master? Oh, that's right. Well then. I beg your pardon. Please excuse me for a moment. Oh, by all means. I bowed politely and left together with Nayuta. Once we were far enough away, I spoke to Nayuta again. So, what did grandfather have to say? There was no communication from the master. Huh? I lied about that. You looked exhausted, Miss Spacey. Did I perhaps overstep my boundaries? No, actually, I'm really grateful. That's good to hear. I was dumbfounded that he would say such a thing so casually. I knew it was rude to think this, but I didn't think he could ever consider that he would even consider something like that. He would surprise even Kasuga. In fact, Nayuta blended in seamlessly even here where there were many experienced bodyguards. I had a feeling that the sponsor wasn't just being flattering about Nayuta. Am I feeling happy? It must be the same kind of feeling one gets when their beloved dog is praised. Feeling a bit better, I decided to look around at the paintings once more. Like, damn, good boy. Now look at the giant spider! But it's got 9 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, 10. It's a 10-legged spider. I don't like it. Also, spiders follow me everywhere, so I don't like that. It's like, stop it! They're even in my games! Anyway. It's finally over. All I had to do was attend the event in grandfather's place and go around greeting people with a smile. In the past, I could have handled it without an issue, even with all the etiquette that comes with being the Tojo family heir. But now I felt strangely worn down. But I managed to get through it. Thank you for your hard work, Nayuta. You must be tired from being in work mode all day. I'll ask Kasuga to send a car for us and we can have some tea while we wait. No, thank you. You need not concern yourself with me. However, if you're tired, then I suggest we go home. This place is very crowded. You never know when trouble might arise. Huh? Is something wrong? Something wrong, he says. Bewildered by his overly calm demeanor, I let out a sigh. Nayuta, now that we're outside, you can relax and behave like normal, okay? You don't need to be so restrained. Come on, you can run around and get out some of that pent-up energy. I'm afraid I cannot do that. To let my guard down would put us at risk. At risk? What could possibly be risky about such a peaceful afternoon? I couldn't help but feel a little dejected, seeing him still standing at attention. I just wanted to have a nice cup of tea with him after such a tedious day. It's true that Nayuta was usually too energetic and rambunctious, but him being so calm and controlled like this also left something to be desired. Was it selfish of me to think that? Miss Spacey, is everything all right? I'm fine. Come on, let's just get out of here. I had moved just one step forward when my phone rang. It was Kasuga. Hello? Perfect timing. We were just about to... You need to get out of there now! What? Just hurry! The sound of deafening screams made me drop my phone involuntarily. I hurriedly picked up my phone and held it to my ear, but all I could hear was static. What's going on? Miss Spacey, stay behind me! What's that screaming? Please do as I say! Nayuta grabbed my arm and pulled me behind him without saying a word. His eyes darted around the area. You knew something was going to happen when she was like, what could have possibly happened on such a nice day? All hell's going to break loose. At the center of all the screams and commotion... Oh my god! There was a man wielding a bloody knife, laughing maniacally. I'm done for! It's all over for me! 20 million is bullshit! What did I do to deserve that, huh? Huh? Answer me! What? Stay calm, Miss Spacey. Don't worry, he hasn't noticed us. Let's avoid provoking him and quietly get out of here. Okay? The man wasn't acting in a rational manner. He was mumbling to himself and moving erratically, all while wielding a knife. We need to get out of here while we have the chance. Nayuta calmly directed me, and I nodded to him. Just as I was slowly backing away... Man's gonna come after us. That stupid bitch! If she hadn't said she was leaving me, I never would have lost custody! The slasher looked up sluggishly and dragged his gaze around his surroundings. A small child among the crowd in the distance caught his attention. Oh, what are you doing here, huh? Be good and don't move, okay? Daddy'll be right there. Stop! I screamed without thinking. The words just flew out of my mouth when I saw the man's glistening knife and the child frozen in fear. I mean, you can't really blame us for that. I wasn't prepared. My legs shook and even my voice was trembling. Oh? Oh no. Silence washed over me. The man stopped moving and looked directly at me. I could see myself reflected in his cloudy eyes, struggling to restrain my trembling. I don't know what happened to you, but you should be ashamed of yourself for going after a child! Oh, you're right. Okay, I'll put this knife down and turn myself in. I mean, girl, we're gonna get stabbed. Well, thank God we have Nayuta. One punch and he's dead. My hands began to shake and my throat was so dry that I couldn't even swallow. The man kept staring at me, his face broadening into a wide smile. Found you? What? I finally found you, you stupid bitch! I don't know if you're the principal's daughter or someone on the board. My whole life's been ruined ever since you sued me. What in the world is he talking about? He clearly saw someone in me, but who? The man glared at me with hate-filled, bloodshot eyes. He's anyone. He saw his kid in that child. He sees the hateful bitch in you, you know. He clearly wanted to murder me, which made my legs start shaking all over again. Miss Spacey, don't be afraid. Everything's okay. But we have to run. It'd be more dangerous if we ran. I'll handle this here and now. Nayuta whispered this to me, his tone matter-of-fact. He gently placed a hand on my shoulder. Then, while keeping me behind him, he readied himself calmly and kept his eye on the deranged man. It's all your fault! I've lost everything because of you! The man dove at Nayuta while shouting incomprehensible gibberish. Look out for the knife! Nayuta parried the knife and grabbed the man's arm as if to twist it. and slammed him face first into the ground, and we get a CG. Oh, wow. Oh, Nayuta, hi. Wow. That is a sexy face. Shit. I mean, you've always, there's times where you're like, he actually looks really good. He's still a little adorable. This is like, oh, this is like 10 years later, Nayuta. What are you doing? Stop it. No, you know what? Don't. I like it. Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. But like, if I just saw this CG before I saw Nayuta, I'd be like, he's hot. And then you see Nayuta and you're like, I mean, he's adorable. Wait, what? But like, this CG... Nayuta. Holy shit. I like it. I'm impressed. I kind of like it when they do that, when they're like, you know, the boys who are a little cutesy or have the big saucery kind of eyes and they make them sexy as fuck in the CGs and you're like, you can't do that. I like it, but you can't do that. Because then in their sprites and everything, you're like, they're adorable. But like, I'm not into the adorable. And then you do this and you're like, oh, you're sexy. Wait, what? Huh? I'm into this. Like, shit, Nayuta's really fucking hot in this CG. I mean, he's not really, he's the, like I said, he's the lolliest boy we have in this, but he's not really, because he actually kind of just looks his age. He doesn't look 12. He just looks his age, but he kind of has like the, like, dopey puppy look on his face sometimes, and then other times you're like, no, right there. Now you just have slightly bigger eyes. You're, like, you've got the cuter, like a sweeter face, but it's not, oh, you're so adorable, look at you, Grandma wants to pinch your cheeks. Sometimes he has that look, but not all the time, which is, he's just in this weird space where it's like, on occasion, you look a little lolly. You're looking a little bit in that range. Not quite, but you're leaning a little toward it. And then other times you're like, nope, and then there's this. What the fuck? Nayuta, if you look like this all the fucking time, shit. This is, wow. Wow. Best Nayuta CG ever. I don't know if they're gonna get better, but this is like top tier. Holy shit, I can't get over it. Ah, let go! Let me go, you bastard! You and that bitch! Stop moving. I really want you to be stop moving with a sexy voice. Ah! Nayuta pressed the man's body to the ground and kept a grip on his arm. I don't want to see his grip on the arm. I want to see his face. Yeah, that's it. I need to see that intense look in his sexy fucking eyes right now. This is hot. Nayuta looked down at the man, completely unfazed by his cries. Nayuta? And then now he's kind of got the Nayuta looking at me. Sorry for startling you, Spacey. Everything's A-okay now. He wore the same carefree smile as before, back when he destroyed the boxing machine. But even, like, right now, he's still, like, he's kind of got the slight adorableness in his eyes. But it's still kind of, like, adorable, but also a little sex. It's very confusing. I'm very confused. He didn't look like he was in the middle of pinning a dangerous attempted murderer to the ground. Like, no, don't give me that CG again. Come on, bring it back. The sirens. Before long... Don't move! Azabu Police Department! With sirens blaring, the police finally arrived on the scene. Nayuta nodded to them and handed the criminal over while still holding onto the man's arms. Thank you. Take the perpetrator into custody, please. The weapon's over there. Knife only. No gun. Nayuta seemed oddly used to this and spoke to the officer in a familiar way. Then he walked over to me, looking concerned. Like, adorable. Like, he's sweet and adorable. He has a baby face. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's got a youthful face. But then that CG is like, oh. Anyway. Are you alright, Miss Spacey? Are you hurt? He's being very considerate, so I said, I'm fine. I was so scared. Like, I feel like, I'm fine is brushing it off. I was so scared is like opening up to him, maybe. I was wrong the last time. Let's see. Oh, okay. Boop! Save file! I don't think we're going to get quite this far, so I'm going to save here. I don't think we're going to get to 50, because I just feel like we're not creating that many save files here, so. And we say, I was so scared. Now that's where we get our bad end, I guess. I was so scared. Murder in his eyes and the bloodstained knife. Just thinking about it made my body start shaking again and my face go pale. I know, but it's all over now. Plus, don't I always say that I'll protect you, Miss Spacey? So you're safe with me. All right. He had said many times that he'd protect me. I never realized how serious he was about that until now. Bird, you cannot bite this headset. This costs money. I will have to sell you to buy a new one. Stop it! I would never sell him. I nodded slightly while mulling over what he said. Well, I actually wanted you to get away as soon as possible. But my duty is to protect you and keep you safe from harm. I knew that my actions had been rash. Mayuta told me not to provoke him. Can't believe I shouted at the criminal to get his attention. You weren't trying to get his attention, you were trying to stop him from hurting the kids, so. But I had to do what I did. When the guy set his sights on that child, I just couldn't stand by. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Mayuta nodded and came close to me. His eyes were filled with an indescribable emotion, almost like he was in a frenzy. The kind of person who'd try and save a child in a dangerous situation like that? I've always had a feeling, but now I know I wasn't wrong. What is he talking about? His strange statements baffled me, but I didn't have much time to ask what he meant. Excuse me, you there! Can you answer a few questions about what just happened? You went after the criminal, didn't you? Weren't you afraid? The man had a bladed weapon. What? Please stay back from this area, members of the press included. We found ourselves surrounded by an ocean of reporters. There were a few police officers trying to control the situation. And then there were bystanders all around, pointing their phones at us and taking pictures. Now that everything had become a giant spectacle, we couldn't just sneak off and disappear. We ended up being questioned by the police. I mean, that makes sense, but I'd be like, can you get us out of here? Perfect timing! Oh, never mind. I thought we were at the end of the chapter, but no. So we're going to stop here, though, so we'll finish the chapter, or whatever, this little segment in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. You have pleasant dreams of that Nayuta CG. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to see more!